Thanks to your film, I just felt that there was a strength in Jules that was phenomenal. Like I was sitting there, that first shot when she actually comes and yells at her, and that seems very angry in the beginning, but it is that brute force that eventually empowers Sakshi. Is that how you saw Jules? How important was Jules to you in that figure?
Hi, good evening. Well, I must say that I was one of the lucky people over here who got to choose the story we wanted to direct. And the most attractive thing about our initial conversations, me too, was Jules, because this is also based on a real life character, the character of a person who's homeless and has certain issues. And it was very beautiful that there was this interplay of homelessness in a way that somebody has a home but doesn't really, and someone doesn't have a home but does have a home. And what is home and all of that was quite pretty. But it was all based on this character of this crazy woman called Jules that Meetu and Monique in their conversations somewhere must have found. But I suspect Meetu knows this lady that we are talking about.
She's just near our office.
So near Meetu's office was this person, and then she led to the story being created. And there were a few times where we thought we should abandon this story because it's like very difficult to fabricate it. But I'm glad we stuck on, very persistent. And I could not get to direct it, and Arif, who's here, has directed it. And Arif, you can just, but that's because I was doing something else at that point of time. However, I was there all the time, and the like almost everything which is good and should have been said has been said by the three directors before me, so there's not left for me to say much. However, the inclusivity is a real thing, and there were like differences of the types that you don't get to see in an Indian unit. Differences of gender, of abilities, of like origins and languages, and in the midst of all of that is the making of Melbourne, of this film. And all of us were in that space, really, which is unfamiliar, but that is why it was exciting. And to actually work in that atmosphere was the biggest thrill for Arif and me, because we were with friends. And everybody was looking at each other and trying to, get a good medium of working together and creating a story. But we hadn't been in this atmosphere before. So it was supposed to be a mentorship. Like we'd go there and teach them something. But I think that I personally have learned much more than I could have imagined teaching anybody. So thankful to you, Meetu. And lovely sari as usual. We have to buy many more because I think many of these occasions are going to repeat themselves.
That's beautiful. Thank you each of you.
पहले के ज़माने में मुर्शिद होते थे, उनके शागिर्द होते थे, आमने सामने बैठते थे. मैं आपका डिसाइपल हूँ, कबीर सर से आज मैं तीसरी बार मिल रहा हूँ, इम्तियाज सर आपसे पहली बार मिल रहा हूँ. तो जितना भी मैं आपकी गुरु वंदना करूँ, जो भी मैं कहना चाहूँ बर्बाद करे अल्फाज मेरे. I come to my question. So a couple of days earlier, I asked Rima ma'am after watching Village Rockstars 2 that the film was very inclusive. It had various subjects in it. So I asked that putting these subjects in the film, is it a conscious thought? And to which Rima ma'am replied that yes, it was a conscious thought, and 90% of those elements were thought of while writing the film. Now asking the inverse of this, one thought, one element, as she said, a chap, staying there irrespective of your films. Every single film, in the entire filmography, if you put that one thing out, Bajrangi Bhaijaan will not be Bajrangi Bhaijaan, Rockstar will not be Rockstar. So my question is, that why the chap, and this question is for all four of you, why that chap is important for me, for all of these people, for mankind, and especially for you. in today's time, when there's so much hatred and enmity amongst us, and wars and genocide and everything. So why is that chap important? Thank you, sir.
That chap is something that we try to avoid. I think most filmmakers try that nothing is common between any of their films. So when you stood up and said that, all of us were very despondent and disappointed that our work is so repetitive here. ये सारी picture एक जैसी लग रही है. I understand. You mean it as a compliment and I understand it. But the scent of a human body cannot be produced voluntarily by the person who's living in that body. Similarly, the chap that you talk about cannot be voluntarily created by the filmmaker. It exists within him and it comes into the film. So I feel it's like a thumbprint. It comes in even without you trying to put it in. This is all I think. Not Kabir will answer.
No, I'm going to pretty much echo what Imtiaz says. See, a film is what? It's basically a reflection of what we are, what our experiences are, what our lived experiences are, what our ideology is, what our attitude is. That's उस सब का निचोड़ हम डाल देते हैं फिल्म में. So when we look towards a scene, look towards a character, it all comes from within us. So I guess we can't escape it because that's our personality will come up. But like Imtiaz says, we like to believe कि नहीं हमने तो बहुत अलग बनाया है कुछ. लेकिन I guess that's something that we can never escape. There will always be an element of us in our films, and actually in some sense maybe it's nice that people who know us can say हाँ ये सिर्फ यही बना सकते हैं. So I guess it's a mix.
This is different in the two genders. And that gets reflected in the film. I think you suffer from the same disease.
Yeah. I just wanted to listen from you.
So you catch it. But yeah, I don't think, I don't do anything deliberate to distinguish between the genders when I'm writing. But again, like Chap, your interest is also given by the Almighty. So that shows up, I think.